Hey you, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. My name is Satchmo. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is episode 2. Last episode we did a couple of the early missions in the game, and actually did manage to go up in space. We sent Valentina up there, and she had a great time, but she's back now. So we're going to do a couple more missions, and then we're going to work on orbiting Kerbal probably by the end of it all. And that'll be kind of the goal I set for this episode. So let's see if we can get there. First, I'm going to do a couple more of these other earlier missions. So these missions now become easier once you have liquid fuel, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. I'm going to pick one that I think is appropriate. This is actually a really good one. Haul the radio mount parachute into flight between 5 and 11,000 meters and between 180 and 290 meters a second. That's a good one. And yeah, I don't want that one. TD12 decoupler between 9 and 14 and 210 and 16. That's a good one too. I don't know that I'll be able to complete both of those at the same time, but I'll just go ahead and accept both those missions. Alright, so now we have a new craft here. Or we're going to. Let's just start from scratch. So put that on there. I like to make sure I have the right thing. The Mark II radio mount and the TD12 decoupler. Those are the two things I want in this craft. So first thing is that, let's go ahead and put the Mark 12 on there. Alright, so put those on the side. And then the TD12 decoupler, that can go on the bottom. Right, and then how are we actually going to get up there? We're going to use liquid fuel to do so. Don't know exactly how much we're going to need. We might have to just test it. Let's see. We only need to go up 14,000 meters, 11,000 meters. Okay, we only need to go up, 10, I guess, to complete both of these. So this is way too much fuel. 771 meters a second, I think should get us there. You know what, just to be safe, let's do that. Yeah. And really, I might even just save this whole craft, especially if I put another parachute on top. There we go. So rocket, and then I'm not actually going to detach it, so I can just put this on top stage. I won't use it. The rocket, and then the parachutes, and then we'll probably land this whole thing here. In fact, I don't even really need to worry about... Nah, I do. Let's go ahead and put aerodynamics on there as well. There we go. Yeah, 10-20 meters a second. That's quite a lot. Oh, my cat was sneaking up on me. I heard somebody. That's a lot, but it's okay. The Mark IV will just be a little over-engineered. So, oh, I don't think I clicked save. It's okay. So this is how I do these missions. They can be a little tricky to get all of the aspects of it right. Let's only focus on one at a time. Now, I'll leave them both up. It kind of clogs the UI a little bit, but it's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throttle all the way up, press my stability control, and what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to launch, and then I'm going to switch over to map view, and I'm going to kill the launch whenever we hit the upper limit of the altitude requirement, okay? So in this case, we'll do the bigger one first. So okay, so when I hit about 14,000 meters, I'll kill the engines. And then, well, we'll just see it in action. Okay, so throttle up, launch, switch over to this view, and you can right-click to pin that number. And once my altitude, this tells me how high I'm ultimately going to go. Once my altitude hits about 14K, I'll kill it. There we go. And you'll see it starts descending because I'm still in the atmosphere, right? But that's okay. So I should be able to get up between 9 and 14. Here's my altitude right here. Oh, this one worked. Oh, and then that one worked. Well, there you go. I didn't have to do anything. Very cool. Both of these conditions were met pretty much at the same time too. So very cool. I'll go ahead and tell you though, just in case I don't do another one of these missions. I want to let you know at least. What I do is I have a little bit of fuel left. Once I get up to that altitude requirement, then I spend the rest of the fuel worrying about my speed. Okay, so if you need to slow down, then you need to change your launch profile. But if you need to speed up, you can, press shift, whatever else, give yourself a little bit of speed. And since you already know you're going to go to that altitude requirement, you can just use your throttle to control your speed, to try to get your speed within the speed requirement. And that's a good way that I found to do this mission. These types of missions is to worry about the altitude first, hit the upper limit since you're going to spend a lot of time in the atmosphere, and that number is actually going to drop down, and then and then just worry about your speed. That's a decent way to do this. Sometimes you can do these with planes as well, and those are, save for the fact that you have to design a plane and actually fly it up there, those are easy because you can really kind of fine tune both your altitude and your speed in a plane. So something else I mentioned last episode, you could do greater than and less than to adjust the amount of warp. See, so if I press them, they change. But if you pressed the question mark slash button, it'll kill the warp. It'll go all the way back down to 0 for you. So it's a little hotkey to bring you all the way back. This game is full of hotkeys. So anyway, there we go. Let's go ahead and recover. Completed both of those missions, got a little bit of money in the bank, and was able to demonstrate how to do them, so that's cool. 300 and almost 350,000 funds, very cool. Here we go. These are the ones that I wanted. Ferry a VIP safely to our destination and back. So we're going to do that one, and we're going to do this one as well. I didn't read it, but I know these missions start off with the itinerary is to do a suborbital space flight on Kerbal. So we're going to accept both of those. And we're going to go to R&D because now we need more stuff. Let's see. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna grab survivability. I have 107 science. So I'm gonna grab survivability, which is going to give me some heat shields, a barometric pressure gauge, which is going to be, it's a science item. Some radiator panels, some landing struts, those radial mount parachutes that we just tested a minute ago, and a service bay to put stuff in. You'll see all that in greater detail shortly. And then I'm also going to grab this one, Basic Science, which is going to give me a Probodibyne Steputnik, which is a big pun on several different things, but of course it's referencing the Sputnik, the Russian satellite Sputnik. So anyway, we're going to grab that too, 45 science. That's going to eat up a good chunk of our remainder, but that's okay. Don't need any of that right now, and could use this, but we're going to save that. Very cool. So now we're going to have a new class of spaceship. We're done with the Hopper tests. We might come back to the Hopper series, but oh, can I control Z that? I think I didn't click save. I'm gonna click save just in case. Okay. So here we go. Now we're gonna call this so now we are starting off the Tourist Ferry series, which we can name these something else. In fact, that would be awesome. Why don't you guys let me know in the comments? I'm just gonna name them like what they are, but like let's come up with fun names. If there's like a particular name, like like the Apollo missions had, like there's a reason I called them Apollo, based on the mythology of it. So yeah, if you guys can come up with really cool names for these, why they would be one name or the other, then I would love to just rename all this stuff and have fun little in jokes. So let me know. That would be awesome. Did I grab? Let me go back. Don't save. Let me grab one more thing. In fact, I might not have enough science for it now that I'm thinking about it. Where? It's this one. I wanted this crew cabin. But I don't have enough science to get there. Well, I've already accepted the mission, and I'm not going to admit defeat, so we're going to do it like this. Check. That's how we're doing it, and you're going to see what I'm doing in a second. For those of you who have played the game, you might find this as funny as I do. By the way, you press WASD to control the orientation of these things. Okay, so this is our capsule. The Protobodyne Steputnik is a remote controlled unit. Okay, so you don't actually have to have crew on here, which is important because we won't. We have 2 empty seats, right? We have an empty seat in this one, and we have an empty seat in this one, and we're gonna stick both of our tourists. So one tourist is gonna have a nice upside, right side up view, and one of them is gonna have an upside down view. Poor guy. Let's worry about survivability first. In fact, okay. Yeah, this guy's gonna land right on his head, but that's okay. Alright, and then they wanted to go to space. No, you asked for it, you know. So again, we need about 1600 meters a second off delta V. This gives us 1021. Gives us 1373. 1663. This should be plenty. It should get us there. I'll try to over budget a little bit, put some fins on there to keep it more aerodynamically stable, even though this is not a pretty ship. This is not something I would be a space tourist on. That's too funny. This is cracking me up. I also want to split up the drogue chutes and the parachutes. Okay, so I didn't talk about those. The drogue chutes have a higher tolerance for speed and pressure. Okay, so whereas, and you remember this from last episode, one of my parachutes snapped because I was going too fast. So what you can do is you can use the drogue chutes to slow you down to a speed where the parachutes are then effective. So these won't slow you down. They'll slow you down, but they won't soft land you. These will soft land you. So the two of them working in tandem is will keep you alive. So anyway, rocket goes up, decouples at that point. The drogue chutes go off if I need them. I might not even need them. And then the parachutes. Check your crew. I got the tourists in there. Agagel Herrmann and Hadlock Herrmann. Very, very cool. Let's save this. This is Tourist Ferry 1. This is what people agreed to get in. This is the ship that they said, yeah, I'll ride that to space. Yeah. So, good job. I tried to press T. I pressed T instinctively, but the Protobodyne does not have a stability control, so I'm going to have to fly this myself. So, anyway, throttle up, launch. I'm going to switch to map view and fly from here. And I want to see when I hit 70k, if I have any fuel left, then I'll just kill the engines, since there's no reason for me to go any higher than that. I am using WASD to kind of hold my little argument here directly on radial out. We'll talk more about those in the future. But anyway, I want to point directly away from the planet. I don't want this thing to lilt over at all. So this would be the most efficient way to get altitude. Now there is a problem with the spacecraft being designed the way it is, and that is, well, we'll see it in a minute because we're about to hit our mark. Let's go up and give ourselves a little bit of buffer. 80. I don't think I'll bleed off 10,000 meters of altitude, but it's okay. So there we go. This is on its way to space. Very cool. The kind of downside of this is I didn't bring any science with me. We'll have plenty of time to do science. I like to do it as efficiently as possible. But anyway, let's go ahead and warp up there. The downside of this design is that these things are designed to have a blunt end and, a tapered. It's a taper to it. So that this blunt end can be facing the direction you're going. So that it slows you down faster, right? And then the rest of the air rushes around the side, and it kind of keeps you in that orientation, this kind of gumdrop shape that it has. So with two of them being pointed like this, it's going to be a bullet no matter which way we go, right? So that's why these drogue chutes are going to be important. Also, I did save some fuel though. So what I can do is I can... there we go. That was their space flight, by the way. They went up to space. They're very happy. Look at them on every side over here. They look thrilled. So let's kill the time warp. Let's check that their itineraries have been met. They have. Sometimes these actually won't trigger, so that can be annoying. Anyway, just for added safety, I'm going to go ahead and, now that we're in the atmosphere, burn off the rest of this fuel to slow us down. Decouple. Launch the drogues. There we go. And then once I see over here that this thing turns, there we go, turns white, now I know it's safe to launch the other ones. Now the only concern that I have at this point is, besides the fact that I'm about to snap this guy's neck because he's upside down, he's about to he's about to sustain the full force of landing upside down. There we go. Besides that is that they, if you land on a hill, sometimes you can like roll down the hill and that'll damage your ship, but that's okay. So there we go, safe. 5.8 meters a second is well within the tolerance of impact on these ships. Anything below like 9 is good. So you can actually hit the ground pretty hard, but I wouldn't encourage it. I wouldn't recommend it. I could probably flip this thing over as well and like land it on the Probodobodyne core if I wanted to, just for like extra caution, but it's okay. There we go, let's watch it soft land. And doink. Very cool. Recover that vessel. A little bit of science for that, not much. And then, yeah, ready for their next assignment. They love that. They had a good time. Now they're arguing about who gets to be on top and who gets to be on bottom next time. Let's go back to mission control. I'll probably have more tourists to do. Now let me see real quick. This is really what you want. This guy right here, this crew cabin, which has a crew capacity of 2. For these tourist missions, you really want this. But to get to that, let's see. I think I'd rather do this. And then, okay, so I need 15 more science before I get this. So let's do a quick science mission. Let's do get something that's gonna give us some science. Let's see. Test the heat shield. That's pretty high. 4750. I don't want to do that. 61. Nope. This is not a bad one. 11,000 to 14,000 meters a second. Speed 140 to 230, and it's to test the Mach 16 parachute. So let's go ahead and accept that mission. We'll come back, and I have a craft capable of doing this, right? Right, we have the hopper. There we go, the hopper Mark IV. Let me double check. It's the Mach 16 parachute, which is this one right here, so that's good. Check the note. To perform a test, activate the part through the staging sequence. So it has to be staged. So let's put this on its own stage. Here we go. And then decouple. Yeah, all the way to the top. I don't really even need a decoupler, honestly. I'm not going to change the design, but you can just take this off and then do that. If you want to recover the whole thing, you don't need the decoupler there. But, okay, there we go. This should be able to accomplish this mission with ease. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to the mission, to the VAB. There's one thing I wanted to do. I specifically said I wanted to do this to get science. So, let's put some science on there. Science. A couple of those. A couple of those. And a couple of those. There we go. You're covering up the hatch doing this. So on missions where you want to get out of the ship, make sure you don't cover the hatch. I don't want to get out of the ship, so I don't care about that. But in the future, like don't do this if you want to get out of the craft, because that's it'll stop you from doing so. The game won't just like let you teleport out. Is my point. Let's load up this guy right here. This is going to show us what we have. So temperature scan. I haven't done that one yet. Let's do them on the reverse side. log temp, and then pressure scan while landed. There we go. Alright, throttle up, SAS. Let's check the requirements here. 11,000 to 14 and 140 to 30. So 14. Launch. So I'm gonna start throttling down now because I'm already going pretty fast. 1,000 to 14. There we go. Let's keep this open real quick. I'll try to do science on the way down if there's any science to be done. So I am going to hit my altitude, and we're just slowing down to within our speed range. And I speed up a little bit because speed dropped below 140. And then there we are. So all of those conditions are met. Kill the thing, and then test the parachute. There we go. Very cool. So mission success. Let's go ahead and look at these. I have an EVA that I can't do right now, and I have an atmospheric pressure scan. There we go. Alright. And then now I can just speed on down. There. Very cool. So I have another one here. It's called Science Here and Now, and I think this is like another version of this one. I didn't mean to install both of them, but I did. I think it's funny when you're warping the ship like accordion apart. What you can do with this one is you can actually just like click on the little buttons here. Like for instance, if I click on Mystery Goo, it'll automatically bring it up for me, so I can do that. In fact, I click on it again because I have 2 of them on there, and it'll do that. So very cool. If I was able to, I could click EVA report and it would do the EVA report. I'm not going to be using this one very much. I'm probably going to uninstall it. But it's just a little bit of it's kind of a hotkey for this one. This one I can just look at and see whether or not I've completed the things or not. So hopefully that made sense. Recover vessel. Alright, so 47 science. I didn't get as much science as I was expecting. Oh, but I did get enough, right? Because I needed 45 and I got 47. So let's go ahead and take this one so we can get the crew cabin. Mission control. And now we start getting missions that say Ferry 2 tourists. Some of them say like Ferry 4 tourists. So we say Ferry 2 tourists safely to the destination and back, except that one. Test heat shield. I won't be able to do that one, so we'll just skip that one for now. Let's open the tourist ferry. And we're going to make some adjustments to it. I think it's under utility. Yes, under utility is the crew cabin. There we go. Alright, so instead of having those 2 silly Mark 1 cabins, we have this one crew cabin. And that will be able to fit both tourists. Make sure you put those in. And then it's also a lot lighter, so I have 2018 meters a second. So I don't need that much fuel. 1697, that's good. Gives me a little bit of leeway. And then just in case, we'll do a couple of parachutes. Get the staging right. The decoupler goes first, the drogues go next, and then the parachute on top. There we go. This is the tourist ferry. Mark 2. These are ships. So this has a capacity of 2. I'll put that in the little notes there. Tourist ferry Mark 2. The new and improved version of the tourist ferry. I like to do these with a capacity of like 6 or 8 because sometimes you get a lot of these ferry missions, and if you can knock out several of them all at once, that's super handy. That is something I'll probably be doing off camera if we need to. Because you don't need to see me just do this. You just go up and come back down. So, in fact, you're probably already getting tired of me just going up and down with these little missions. But in the beginning of the game, it's really handy to have all these funds. So, and it's a great way to make money, is to just send these guys up and down on these little ferries. So, designing something that you know works. Oh. Revert to vehicle assembly. I made a mistake. Oh no, I haven't made a mistake. I had these, I thought I hadn't put fins on and I did. Now I'm wondering why the ship did that. You know, I wasn't paying attention and then I just like instinctively reverted. Apologize for that. I'm wondering now why the, I'll have to pay more attention to it this time. Wondering why it flipped over. Is it unbalanced in some way? It shouldn't be. Let's just see. Anyway, it's a great way to make money, is to send these guys up and down in this thing. So, you can throttle back when you start getting these forces here. You can throttle back until you get out of that thick portion of the atmosphere a little bit. In fact, in real life they do that. There we go. Just kind of steered a little bit by hand. I think I just wasn't paying attention to my orientation, and I think it started to tilt over, and I didn't catch it. That's what happened. But I do have enough authority here to control it. There we go. I can go ahead and detach this as well. Because I think at this point I should be able to get... Oh no! Nope, this isn't going to go all the way to space. Let's put a little bit more juice on here. Yeah, that's fine. So the thing's not the most aerodynamically stable, and if I had a crew member on top who can just hold authority, this would work a lot better. But it doesn't. But I don't. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of like restarting in this game. It's just kind of the way it is. Sometimes you'll forget something, or several times, many times. Have I gotten all the way to the moon or to another planet and then forgotten, I don't know, the ladder to get down, or a battery, and then run out of electrical charge, something like that. The game is really easy to forget little details like that. So that's just the way it is. This is a good opportunity for me to talk about this mod, Kerbal Engineer. This is the mod like pretty much everybody uses. This gives you a lot of information about your vessel. Let me kill the... My ship's flipping over, but I don't think it's that big a deal. This should be... Yeah. There we go. That's enough to get us into space. The Mark II version of this craft is not... It's not going to be our final form. It'll be a new and improved version of this craft, don't worry. There we go. They are in space now. They have completed their travel itinerary and are ready to come back home. So there we go. Let's go ahead and fall gracefully back down to Kerbin. I'd probably go ahead and activate the drogue chutes. They won't launch yet until they are within their height parameters. There we go. Very cool. Anyway, Kerbal Engineer gives you a lot of information about your craft, but it requires that you put a little chip on the craft to allow this mod to work. I think there's a way in the settings where you don't need that chip; it'll just always work. But I'm gonna kind of do it the way the mod kind of intends it to be, like a optional in-game item. So I guess that's the one, if you don't have that mod, that's the one item that I'll be able to use that you won't be able to. But I would encourage you to install it, because all it gives you is data about the craft. It gives you like your apoaps and your altitude and your vertical speed and horizontal speed and whatnot. So it gives you a little bit more details about the ship itself, and about your trajectories and rendezvous and all kind of cool stuff. So I will be using that. So that's what this is. And this is trajectories. I'm probably going to turn that one off. In fact, the only reason I downloaded this one is so I could do that intro that you've probably seen by now, where I landed the crew back at the Space Center. And it can be very difficult to predict where your things are going to land if you don't do a lot of math and a lot of calculations to figure these kind of things out. So there's a mod that says trajectories, and all it does is it tells you where your craft is going to land as you're entering the atmosphere or something like that. So I think nice landing, recover the vessel. So I downloaded that mod, but I'm not going to be using it for anything else. I'm probably just going to delete it. I really don't like having a lot of mods on. Very cool. Okay, so now we can worry about orbiting Kerb. I said I want to do that this episode. Let's go ahead and do that now. Made a little bit of money. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that now. Be a good second episode. I don't have any science, so I have to do it with the ship that I have available to me. So let's see. Orbiter Mark 1. We'll put a person on this. Person's going to need a parachute. Person's going to probably need a heat shield. We'll talk more about this stuff in the future. It's going to need a decoupler. I should probably go ahead and put science on here, although I don't really... Yeah, I'll put some science on here. Just in case. There, and then in fact, let's go ahead and put the Science Junior on here. Now, the Science Junior is big and heavy, but it gives you a lot of science. So we're going to bring that up with us, and we're going to save it too. So we're going to need... Let's go ahead and grab drogue chutes and parachutes. There we go. Let's worry about our staging. That goes off, and then the drogues. And then these have a higher tolerance. I'll put them on the next stage. And then this last. Although I don't think I actually need all of these parachutes. Better safe than sorry. So there we go. That's going to be what actually orbits for us. Or what actually comes back, I should say. And we're going to do this all with these fuel tanks. So to go into orbit and to come back, you need about 3,600 delta V. So this is what we're going to do. So these radial decouplers, you see me test these before, because we had missions to test them. These decouplers, stacked decouplers, go like they do, right? So they go in line, where these radial ones, they stick on the side, but they work ostensibly the same. So let's take this off real quick. Copy this, put this back on, and then attach this stack to the radial decoupler. There we go. In fact, you don't actually really need to do this, but go under the structural tab, click on these struct connectors, and connect them to the center core so that this thing doesn't flex too much. Let's go ahead and check our staging real quick. I'm going to decouple all these at the same time because they're all going to run out at the same time. Actually, I might do like a little trick here. Let's see if this works. I'm going to limit the thrust of the center core to 80. Keep these side ones on 100. This may or may not work. We'll see. those on first. Okay, so I'm at 2,500 meters a second. Right? Need more than that though. Ooh, that's not what I want to do. Let's add a couple more fuel tanks. Oh, okay. So that's not how that works. I thought I could just add them to the top like that, but for some reason it's not working. There we go. 2672. Okay, so that's good. And then let's also do more. We're going to do hammers on the side, solid fuel boosters. Click on the move tab here, and you can just nudge them around like that. You can also rotate them here with this rotate tab if you wanted to, like that, but we're not going to do that. Okay. And let's tuck those up there. Decoupler and another one. I'm not talking about it real quick. I'm just going to build it and then we'll discuss it. There we go. That's better. Structural. Connect those to the inside. Again, it's only connected right here, so this bottom part is going to want to flex around. So we go ahead and we strut it so it stays firm. And let's see. Make sure that everything is staged properly, otherwise it won't calculate the it won't calculate things properly. So the outer ones, the inner ones, how about that guy? Here, he goes in the bottom stage as well. There we go. All those fire off at the same time. And then these decouple. And then these go, right? So this is going to decouple off, and then these are going to light up. And then those are going to decouple away, those are going to decouple away, and then finally that top is going to decouple, and then the parachutes, which I've already staged properly before. 3187. I need more. What's my thrust to weight? So down here at the bottom, you get some nifty little information here. You have your thrust to weight ratio. Okay, so that's how much of your ship can you lift, essentially. So I can lift almost 3 times my mass. So I have plenty of room for more mass, essentially. There. Why? Let me check this out real quick. Oh, boop. There we go. Center core, outer core, those two. Then these, if you go and put them on the same stage, these will light at the same time that the bottom ones drop off. Then those decouple, and then those decouple. And on top, I'm at 3543. Let's do a little bit more. This is ridiculous, right? This is a lot, but it will work. And I want to do this without having to do any more science, essentially. There we go. Check everything. That keeps happening. Every time I do this, that goes on for some reason. 3733. That's enough. I can do more struts. Alright. Aerodynamics. Here we go. And I don't have any, I do have nose cones. There we go, that makes my thing more aerodynamic. 36, 64, that's still within range. So, there we go. It's a big crazy ship, but I think it'll work. And again, the thing is thrusted back so that once everything drops off, I'll have this center core that can do other stuff. Hopefully this works. I've done ships like this before, and it's worked in the past. So, oh yeah, here we go. Vehicle assembly building can support vessels over 30 parts. So I've saved that. Let's leave, and we have to upgrade some stuff. I need to upgrade you, and I probably need to upgrade you, so I'll just go ahead and do that as well. And then Orbiter Mark 1. There we go. Oops, I have 2 of them. I'll just go ahead and delete one of these real quick. Delete. There we go. Fly, Jebediah can go up there. Very cool. Alright, throttle up and go. So very cool. I'm not going to worry about anything about science or anything on the way up. I want to focus purely on actually flying this monster. So what I'm going to be paying attention to is that when these boosters go out, I need to press spacebar to stage the next ones. That's kind of the important thing. Also want to go straight up until I hit about 10k. There we go. Those bottom ones drop off and now these go up. I want to go about straight up until we hit about 10k. You'll see later on in the series I'll start doing less than that when these ships are designed a little bit better. But for now we're going to do that. I'm going to throttle back a little bit. I'm getting a lot of aerodynamic forces here. And I'm going to start rolling to the right. There we go. Now we'll see how aerodynamic this, or how stable this ship is. It's holding authority pretty well. Tilting over. I'd like to have tilted over a little bit sooner. That's okay. Alright, I'm going to kill my velocity. Yeah, I'm going to kill it. I'm up at 89k, my apoapsis, right? So your apoapsis is the highest point in your current trajectory, okay? So that's way above space. That's plenty. Now again, in future launches, this will be a lot more efficient, and this will be a little bit more textbook. But for this mission with this ship, it's gonna be a little janky. So let me roll over. I haven't talked about your prograde marker or your normal markers or anything like that yet, but I will in the future. I will definitely talk more about those. So I'm going to roll over towards the to be like at the tangent of the planet, essentially, this equator mark here. Now as I get close to this hump, I can go ahead and speed up a little bit. Now what I need to do is go forward. Okay, this is your prograde marker. This is the direction that you're actually moving. This V here is the direction you're facing. This prograde marker is the direction you're actually moving. Your velocity marker. So I'm gonna continually start and stop the craft. I want to get close to this apoapsis and move forward is essentially what I want to do to gain speed. But I don't want to pass up that marker. So you see, if I'm pointing my ship above the horizon, that marker will continue to move away from me. So I can keep this marker in front of me. Essentially, I can keep my high point in front of me as I continue to gain speed. You see, as I'm doing this, the orbit is widening. So it's going around the planet. Let me go back and check on my fuel situation. Okay. Again, I'm keeping my craft pointed at that prograde marker, and an orbit should start to appear. There we go. And for the orbit to actually be counted, my periaps, which is your lowest point, needs to also be above the line of space. So it needs to be 70,000 meters up. So I'm going to warp forward to get to Apoapс. There we go. There it is. My high point is 96,000 meters, and my low point is 71. Therefore, let's see. There we are. We are now orbiting Kerbal. So this craft, which these are now empty, right? There we go. I can decouple these. Now they fly away. Very cool. So those will actually just perpetually drift through space. I can come back and clear them later, but there we go. Let's speed around the planet. Because you can't see anything. This is a YouTube video. I want you guys to be able to see what's going on here. There we go. Sunrise. There we go. So yeah, we are in space now, and we are orbiting. We will just maintain this this orbit perpetually until we decide to stop. Right? Very cool. Because there is no atmosphere here. There's nothing to slow us down. But we do want to go back home. This video is getting long anyway, so I'm going to point retrograde. I'm going to move my craft out of the way so you can kind of see it. The retrograde looks like that. It's got an X, and it's got the kind of the markers 1/3 of the way around. So this is how you slow down. You point retrograde, and you throttle up. So this is decreasing my orbit. You can see, there we go. My trajectory is now going into the ocean somewhere. That's totally fine. So I'm just going to burn off all my fuel, slow down as much as I can. And when you run out, decouple. And let's look at our space. We can do an atmospheric pressure scan, a crew report, a temperature scan. I'm actually out of space now, so I missed some of the things in space, but that's okay. A mystery goo, and a material studies, observe material bay. And there we go. A lot of extra science from going into space. Alright, and then we'll just speed through. I have a nice kind of shallow trajectory, so I should just kind of kiss the atmosphere and let it slow me down naturally. The ship looks pretty crazy with all the stuff open on it. There we go, we started getting some atmospheric heating effects. That's okay, we've got this heat shield on to protect us from that. There we go, slowed us down brilliantly. Onto the drogue chutes, onto the other parachutes. Beautiful. Again, well, two things to say. So one, I feel like I kind of rushed that a little bit. I feel like I could have explained that a little bit better. So we'll probably be doing, we'll definitely be orbiting the planet again, dozens of times. I will explain it again in the future, but that's kind of a crash course on how to do it. And it's how to do it with just the very first engine that you get and the very first fuel tank that you get as well. So we're doing that on the cheap. It's there's like way more efficient craft, obviously, that you can use to do that exact same thing. But that is how you can get into orbit. A nice steady orbit with really, really early technology. I've unlocked things in the tech tree that I didn't need to. So you could have even done it with a lot less science than I did it with. But anyway, there we go. Now, nice 4 meters a second, nice and slow descent. Here's something else to think about right here. You click on this, and it'll give you the altitude. Here's the sea level altitude, and then here's the altitude of the terrain actually below you. See, now that we're above sea, these numbers will be the same. But if you're over hills or mountains or ground or anything like that, this number will be less. So. There we go, slow down as we gently touch down. There we go. Beautiful. I can open this back up real quick, and let's see, I do have temperature scan I can do. Which one of these didn't I use? I used that one. Log temp, pressure scan, and then material studies, but I can't do it because I've already used the material studies. So this is available to me, but unfortunately, or I'm sorry, well, it's something I could do, but I can't do right now. So recover the vessel, and everybody will be thrilled that I did essentially what the Gemini missions did. Well, the Geminis were the ones that actually, I take that back, the Geminis were the ones that docked in space. But 72 science for that. Very cool. Brings us up to a total of 92 science. It is nighttime. I can press this button up here to warp to morning, just so we can make sure we're doing things during the day. Hopper Mark II debris, we can recover that. In fact, let's go to tracking station real quick and see if there's anything. Nope. No space junk or anything like that to worry about. If you click up here at the top, you can see, let's see, here we are, debris. I click on that and toggle debris. You see that I have some debris from the Orbiter 1, and I have some debris from, where is it? Oh, they're down here, but they're in, you can't see this. So I do have some debris around I can clean up, but you click on it and recover. Click on it. I hate this thing. I need to get that. I need to get that mod away so that stops popping up. I can terminate. I'll leave these alone for now. You can terminate them, which means you can just stop tracking them. But I might leave them up there. It might be a good idea to see if we can clean these out of the sky manually. Do a little bit of orbital, cleaning up. So very cool. Let's see what mission control has for us next. Probably something to do with the moon. Yes. Next mission is to go to the moon. Fly by the moon, gather scientific data from the moon, and then return from a flyby of the moon. So not only go there, but also come back. So we will be accepting this mission next time and doing that. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, I know I kind of rushed that first orbital thing, but we're going to do it so many times that it'll become more and more clear how to do it. This wasn't necessarily intended as a tutorial per se, because again, I think a lot of people watching this probably already know how to do a lot of this. So anyway, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe if you like what you saw, and if you want to help me out, I'd really appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode. So thanks so much. Bye.